Hi. Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Thanks for coming. We're going to be talking about Slade House.
Yay.
Oh, this is like the first book I think since starting the group that I've actually like read early. Like I always read them the week before, or like the week of.
Well, I usually like to have it more fresh in my mind. I think it's not that I'm not excited about the book. It's that I like, if we're doing the live show, I'm like, okay, I want to have. But yeah, I read it like I think we were reading it at the same time, pretty much.
Yeah.
The first week of the month.
And I'm like that. Like I do like having the books fresh in my mind, but for this one, I don't know. I've been mood reading this month and I was in the mood to read
Mhm.
it like immediately at the start of the month. So I did.
Well, and did you have the audiobook as well?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not listen to the audiobook at all. I read the physical and I had like the ebook on Scribd just so I could like read it.
Back, yeah. I love to do
Yeah.
that. Because sometimes and I have a book light, but it's still really bright, and sometimes at night like my husband wants to go to sleep, but I'm like, well, I still want to read my physical book, so it's really nice when I have an ebook copy of it, and
Yeah, and I just
you
find
keep
ebooks so
reading.
much more convenient with like having a child. Like it's just so much easier for me to just
Oh, I imagine
hold like
hold a Kindle or set it on something and the pages aren't going to flip, and for
exactly.
sure, for sure. um
She's less likely to just like grab it out of my hands. Like if
right,
she
and
sees
you're
me
like,
reading a
yeah,
book,
that's the
oftentimes she's
quiz.
like, ah, let me flip
Hey
through this.
everyone, hey Carol, Amanda, Kim.
Yeah, I'm day drinking.
There you go.
Good
Hey,
for you.
it's Saturday.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hello. Hi, Amanda. And Chanel. Oh,
Love it.
I miss talking to Chanel. I literally have not talked to anyone besides you guys recently.
Hi,
So,
Chanel. Why am I not seeing Chanel's comment in the
oh,
thingy?
weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's right here.
that's okay. Hi, Chanel. Um, yeah, we both read this a couple weeks ago, but I actually I feel like I remember quite a bit. Of course, once we get talking about it, that may go
Hmm.
right out the window. But I feel like I remember quite a bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
I took lots of notes while reading it because I was reading it so early in the month. I just
uh-huh.
took notes about everything that was happening as it was
Yeah,
happening. That
good idea.
way I could just um read through the notes really quick before the live because yeah, I took like lot well, you can't
You
really
did.
I like how it's all blank. It's all blank. That's weird.
I think it's just because it won't focus. I
Well,
see.
there we go.
There you go.
I have like a ton. There's a lot. Okay. There's a lot.
See, I was listening to the audiobook, which is a great audiobook, by the way.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so I was mostly listening to it in my car, so I wasn't able to jot down stuff
Hmm.
as it was happening. but, but yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, there's Chanel. Okay.
Yeah. That's so weird. Why are her comments not popping
I
up?
don't know because it did this where she says, "Oh my God, not my comments missing." I see that,
Yeah.
but I didn't see the first one.
Weird. I wonder.
You're incognito.
Yes. Okay. So what did you end up rating the book, Amy?
I gave it 5 stars. That was my computer trying to update. I don't think I've given a Stacks of Strange book 5 stars before this.
No, you
Even a
were
couple.
just talking about that, like about how you have not had a
No,
five-star book.
I've had some 4s. I don't remember what I rated. I'm thinking of ending things. If I rated that a 4 or a 5, that may have been a 5. I really enjoyed. Was it Lakewood? Was that the name of that lake?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lakewood. Um, That was a 4. I think there was another one. I can't remember all the ones we've done, but I think this is my first 5. And it was like, it was a very well deserved 5 for me. Like, I was so excited while reading it because I was like, I think this is going to be a 5-star. Like, I'm really enjoying it. It's at least going to be a 4. Like,
Yeah.
I love when you're reading a book and you just know you're like, this is going to be a 4 or a 5 unless they just totally F it up. But like, I've never read anything by David Mitchell.
Me neither.
So this was my first. It's very short, which I thought was a good little introduction because his books do tend to be pretty chunky.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you?
Did you give Follow Me to Ground a 3?
I think I gave it a 3.
Okay. I feel like you did too.
Oh, thank you, Chanel, about my hair. Thank you.
Yes. It's so pretty. I love it.
Thank you. It was a little redder, but it has faded. But thank you. Yeah, I think I gave Follow Me to Ground 3. I've given a lot of books 3 in here where it's like I've really liked certain aspects of it, but maybe the whole didn't like do it for me. Like on the whole. I mean, I'm obviously like interested in like 95% of the things that we read.
Right.
But sometimes it works out for me and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling you were going to like this one. And I don't know why. Maybe because like I kind of felt like it bordered on sci-fi a little bit. And I know that's kind of like a genre that you enjoy.
I do like sci-fi.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
also,
like
it was like straight up horror. And I know we sometimes read straight up horror, but most of the time it's just like weird stuff. Like,
right.
For whatever reason, like maybe it's not magical realism, but although sometimes, but like just like different stuff. But this was like horror. Like there were some parts that were very creepy and surreal, and I loved it. And so maybe I was like, which when we did polls on our Instagram story, seemed like more people wanted to read horror with us. So I hope that more people enjoyed this, and maybe we will read some more horror. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Really into it.
I'm always down for that.
What did you think?
Okay, so I'm giving it 4.5. So I did very, very much enjoy it. Not sure that I would ever like reread it or anything. Like it's anything super memorable, but I did really, really enjoy the story, and I thought it was very different, very unique. And definitely makes me want to read more David Mitchell. Like I actually put like another book of his, I think it was The Bone Clocks, on my wish list because it's something I definitely want to check out now. Like after reading this, I was like, wow, I might really like his writing. So.
And this is apparently set in the same universe as that book, and there is a bone clock, a literal clock in this book. And I have no idea the connection. I just know they exist, and so maybe this contains some type of spoiler for that book in a way. I have no idea.
I'm not sure if it does or not. I know that it just deals with the same world like you're saying, but I think it's just like a totally different like type of mystery.
I wonder if Bone Clocks also deals with, I don't know how you would refer to this, because it's like the world itself that this exists in is not magical or of this like, but this house is, right? So like I wonder if the Bone Clocks is more normal. I don't know. I feel like in the comments has read the Bone Clocks.
Yeah. No. Has anyone read the Bone Clocks? That would be interesting to know.
And I know he also did Cloud Atlas, which is also an enormous book, and was a movie. And I've heard it's confusing. It's kind of one of those where I feel like you either love it or hate it. But now that I've read this, I'm interested more in his stuff, like you said.
Right.
What did everyone? Some people have given us their ratings.
Yeah.
What did you all rate it?
Yeah. Let us know. Did you read it? Did you not read it? Did you
Oh,
love
no,
it? Did you
so,
not
yeah.
love it?
Yeah.
I was expecting to like it just by like, I don't know, the description of it. The synopsis sounded really interesting to me, but I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I was kind of a little nervous going in too.
I would, yeah.
Because his books, by description, also seem kind of intimidating. At least the Bone Clocks always has, and it's a book that's always stood out to me. I come across it often, and I always think about maybe I'll read the synopsis and I'm like, that sounds really good, but then I'm like, it might be a little too smart for me also, though. Like, I don't know, the way that his stories revolve around, it's like almost like alternate like universe type things. Like, I don't know what you would.
An alternate reality almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the right term. Yeah, Kim did not enjoy it.
I do find like it is definitely polarizing. So, like, I know Chanel said, "Oh, let me look this up. 5 stars." But I don't know if you're gonna like it, just because, like, you really can't tell if someone's going
No.
to like it or not. Like, as far as our group, like, I think a lot of us did enjoy the book, but then, like, I saw some people in the Discord that didn't like it so much. So it's yeah. Uh-oh, I couldn't stand this book.
Oh no.
I found it very repetitive is a word that I have seen often when referring to this book, which I can understand, but while I was reading it, I never felt like it was repetitive, at
Okay.
least for me. But looking back now, I could see why someone would feel like it was repetitive.
Repetitive in plot, you think?
I think in like
Or,
how
writing
each of the
style.
sections always ended the
Yeah.
same.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
And I think to some people that just became repetitive because they all like, I mean, you know that this is probably how it's going to end. But
Right.
I don't know, I kind of felt like all of the information we were gathering about these twins in between was enough to keep it interesting because you're
Right.
getting more and more information as to like what they are, what this world is, what this like
Yeah.
how they're
Well,
able to
I
do what
just
they're able to
found
do.
I found each of the stories. I mean, basically, this is structured in 5 stories that take
Mhm.
place every 9 years.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yes, 9.
Okay.
9.
Um,
I was gonna say 8 for some reason,
I
but
couldn't
no, it was
remember.
9.
It was somewhere around there. And I liked each story, I feel like, for what it was. And like you did, obviously, especially by the end of the second one, you're like, oh, okay, so like we know what's going to happen, what's going on. But it did start to, especially in the fourth story, I feel like it started to turn that on its head, and it didn't end the same. And obviously, the fifth one didn't end the same. Um,
Also, they kinda don't always start the same too. I feel like,
right.
yeah, they find the house, but, like, there's also, like, especially what you're saying about that 4th story,
Uh
I
huh.
guess we should probably get into the spoiler talk
Yeah,
now
I guess. I
because it
mean,
would be a
it's
lot
hard just to
easier
talk
to
about without
explain it.
spoiling things.
Yeah. So I'll first get to Carol's comment because I wanted her to be able to
Uh
share
huh.
how she felt. TNF years ago was going to try again but didn't get around. It's totally fine. I would be interested in seeing what Carol would think about it though cuz she and I tend to I feel like we have similar taste.
Yeah.
It would have been 1 star for me. Got to
It
cuz the
does
funny
have some
dialogue.
fun. Like there. Okay, so I listened to the audiobook, like I said, so I was mostly listening while driving,
Mhm.
to and from work, and yeah, I laughed out loud several times at some of the dialogue. There were just especially some bits like in that first story, and I don't know. I just liked the atmosphere of it. I don't mind that repetitive nature in some ways. Like I think I would prefer that sort of repetition to like a repetition in writing. Like, say they use the same word or phrase too much. That
Right.
would stand out to me much more and drive me crazy. Whereas
Mhm.
this, I felt like there's only 5 stories and we're definitely going somewhere with this.
Right.
And
And
the
I
guilt.
also felt like there was enough difference in those stories for
Uh-huh.
it to have a different effect. So it didn't,
Well, and
at
because
least for me, it didn't
if we're
feel.
getting into spoilers,
Yeah.
the scene is set different every time because they can project whatever they want.
Hmm.
So it didn't always feel like
The
um,
same house, the same place, like the
exactly the
same
same
things happening, the
people.
same people, like even the people were different. And then like
Uh-huh.
as I
Because of
was
the
getting to
way,
with like the fourth story, she's in the bar and talking to
that blew my mind.
yeah, and
I was
like
like, oh, shit.
interviewing him, and this whole thing is just like a projection, which is
And
that was
like, and
pretty
you're
mind
thinking
blowing
you're
to me.
reading the fourth story, and you're like, okay, well, this is like a completely different. Like we've sort of changed our narrative. This is very different. She's not going to the house. Like she's at the bar and she's interviewing this person, and then to find out the whole time that it was just a projection and she's in there already, and you're just, I love it. I don't
It's
know. There was just something about this. Like it's one of those books where, like Bunny or something else like that, where it's like, I can see why it's polarizing. I can see why you wouldn't like it, but for some
mhm.
reason that I can't quite put my finger on, it just worked for me. So,
Yeah.
like, you all giving it 1 or 2 stars, it doesn't like upset me in
Mhm.
any way. But, yeah, I don't know. It just worked for me. I was like, this book is for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And where I listened to it on audiobook, I did kind of immediately. Well, I was like, I kind of want to reread this like in physical form, but I haven't yet. Um,
I really liked reading it in physical form. I'm
yeah,
curious about the audiobook now since you said it was great.
I thought it was
Um,
really good.
yeah, I wanted to get to this comment about what Kim said about the asshole character. I understand where I definitely understand where you feel about that. I believe this character was written as an asshole for real.
Oh, the
Like,
protagonist
so
of the second story is for sure. Is that who we're talking
you were
about?
not supposed to be rooting for Gordon
No,
Edmonds at all. At
no,
all. Which
no.
I definitely wasn't. From the very beginning, I was like, don't like this guy.
Yeah, I was
Cannot
like,
wait till
he's
he
an
gets
asshole.
his.
Yeah, yeah. Which, and I talked about in my recent reads video a week or so ago where I reviewed this. Um, the third story, the protagonist is self-identifies as fat, and like as a fat person, I read, I like to look for positive representation of fat characters, and there was a lot of talk um, down on herself about those sorts of things. Um, and I felt like it was different though because I didn't feel like it was David Mitchell. He wasn't describing her
In that
in
way.
a negative. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
was coming from her. It was like internalized fat phobia that she was portraying, and that there's just something about the way that's written. But like when a author is writing in like third person and they're describing this fat person or something in like a really negative or disgusting way, it just like you're like,
Totally turned
but like
off
when
by
it's
it. Yeah.
first person and you're saying like this about, or even in third person, but if it's the character's feelings about themselves, like I didn't feel like grossed out or disappointed by that. I don't know. It just felt different to me. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but it was kind of like with the second character. I can't remember his name, the cop. But yeah, you can tell from like the very beginning, like David Mitchell is writing him in a way, like the things he said. You're like, yeah, you're not supposed to
Like
like
him.
this. No,
No.
he was awful.
Hmm.
And I couldn't wait. Because, like, in the second story, you're like, okay, are they all gonna, you don't know there's a pattern yet.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, clearly he's being lured. But, like, the longer the story goes on, you're like, I don't know, maybe he's not.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was.
Me too.
I
I
was
was
like,
glad he
he's
was
like the
too.
only one who deserved it.
He really was. I mean, the young boy in the beginning, I think he's like
Yeah,
13,
yeah.
Nathan. He does seem a bit odd at first, and then he does have like a lot of dark fantasy, like he went talking about like the dead cat and stuff. So that
Yes.
seemed like a little off, but other than that, like you don't get enough of Nathan to know whether or not like he's a redeemable character or a
Plus he's
character
a
that you would.
child, so it's
Yeah,
a
so I
little
think he is.
easier to forgive. Yeah.
Mhm. And so he's kind of like that borderline. So when he does meet his demise at the end of that story, I
Mhm.
did feel a bit bad for him.
Yeah.
And then we get to Gordon Edmonds, and I'm like,
I was
can't
like,
wait,
killed
can't
it
wait. Just
Valerie.
have him get his. So like
Mhm.
every moment that he's
It was
being
much. There
killed,
was a lot more like vindication with that.
yeah.
So I think that placement of that story was really good
Hmm.
because the other ones, you definitely feel bad. I can't remember. See, I'll never remember names.
Well, there's Sally Timms
Okay, Sally is the
is the next
girl from the
story.
third
That's
one.
the
Yeah,
third story.
and I loved that
And
one because I feel like it was the longest. Maybe I'm wrong. It felt very long, and I
it
loved it
did
because
feel
they were at a
longer.
Halloween party,
Yes.
which just I was like very of the season,
Hmm.
and I just really liked that one.
Yeah, because I think they were all around Halloween
I think it's like the
every 9 year.
27th or 29th of October is like
Yeah.
the day
So
that
it's like
yeah, something like
just before.
that. Yeah.
But I did feel that same way as you, like with her story, and even like with the way that David writes the characters. Like I feel like he writes them the way they are supposed to be. Like he writes them to be this person. He's not describing them to be this person.
Yeah. And
So
I don't I'm not uh I'm not a good enough reviewer or whatever to like understand how he does that. But you can just it's a feeling you have
yeah,
that he's not you're just writing or you're reading about these people. Like I don't feel like it's someone he's describing to me.
right.
It's just somebody's
Exactly. Like
story he's telling. I don't know.
each of these characters feel real in their own way and have
Mhm.
their own set of opinions, and it's not something that he's like reflecting on them. Like
Yes.
it's just something he's bringing out in each of these characters
Mhm.
so that
It's
you
something that
feel a way.
these traits given them, but it's not how he feels.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
way
And
yeah. I
I I
don't know how writers do it, but
I don't know either. I really don't know either. And then so the first story is Nathan and his mom,
yeah.
Rita. And that's where we get like our first look at Slade House. And at first, I really thought this was going to be a haunted house story. Like just the way that it like
Yeah.
read, like the way the synopsis sounded to me, I thought it was haunted house. So I was
Mhm.
hesitant about talking to Deja about it because she does not like haunted house stories at all. So I was like, I
Oh,
don't know, like it might be haunted house. I think it's haunted house, but I don't really know.
I mean, sort of. Not haunted. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. They're not dead, but
Describe it like so when he like finally like he each person at the end of like their story pretty much ends up like they're like if they
being a
drink a specific
sacrifice.
drink it makes them like paralyzed, and they wake up and they're like looking in a mirror at themselves, and then there's the twins
Yeah.
standing there, and then they come and basically like
They
suck their
suck his
soul.
soul. They suck their soul out and leave
Yeah.
them. What do they call it? Like the residue. That's like they're just their bodies that are still in the house.
Yes.
They call it residue because they take the soul and it helps them be like young and it helps them like be able to travel and
Keep
go through.
their what do they call it?
Oh yeah, keep their whole like
What the heck is it?
yeah, I
I
can't
just have
remember.
like a million notes, so it's hard to like
You
narrow
know, you
down where
start to
all
get a
the
lot of
things
information
are.
in that third and fourth.
They're operandi.
Yes, yes.
And they call it their lacuna as well, which I'm
Uh
assuming a lacuna is type of almost like a spider web, like a trap.
huh. I think so.
Because I
Yeah.
always say like you can't escape our lacuna.
Uh
It's
huh.
like I don't know, whatever trap
That they have
the house
created.
is. The house is like a trap. It's like almost like a bug light in these people are being attracted to it.
It's not just that, oh, if you stumble upon it, it's almost like a vampire where everything about them is made to draw you in.
Yeah.
So it's like the house itself draws you in.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course it's the trap.
Exactly. And then so they're called this operandi, which is basically like this house and place that's frozen in time.
Yeah.
Kind of not unlike like the peculiar the children
Oh
by
yeah.
Ransom Riggs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
It's
about.
kind of like that, how like that house, like that place
The
is
Home for
frozen in
Peculiar
time.
Children. Miss Peregrine's Home for
Peculiar Children. There we go. It was like giving me those vibes because that's a similar like thing. Like it's this house and this place that's like day after day. It's the same exact day and time and everything.
Okay. I've never read that.
Oh, okay. So I just spoiled it.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's so old at this point. I feel like
no, you're not bothering me. Also, I think I saw the movie, but I don't remember.
Yeah, someone. I mean, I'm sure most people have seen the movie by now, honestly.
Not a big deal.
But it's kind of like that. Like it's this house and this place that's just it's like a time loop. There we go, like a loop.
Yeah.
But it only, it's only opens, the portal only opens like every 9 years or whatever.
Yeah, on this like certain night is the only time that door, that little not steel, but iron door becomes. And I love the idea that the house and the grounds are like physically way too big for the space they are supposed to be in.
Right.
They mentioned that a few times of just like going through the door and being like, this can't be here. This is way too big to be in this little block. And I just love that kind of like weird messing with like physical space and time. It kind of, I don't know, just gave me like, I've not read House of Leaves, but it sort of reminded me of that in a sense.
It's very much like that, except it's not like this bright, beautiful place. It's like darkness, pitch black darkness.
Right.
And endless space.
But just that of like walking into a room and you're like, this can't exist. There isn't enough physical space for this to exist. I think gives such a feeling of unease. And it's just like something isn't right here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that really like lends to it. And it's so beautiful, and it really just like draws people in, and they start to kind of forget about the fact that this can't physically be possible.
Right.
And I love that they basically can project themselves as anybody, or appear to be pretty much anyone they want to be.
Right.
I just think it's cool. I don't know. It just worked for me.
It is really neat. And I think it would make like a great type of, I don't know, maybe like a Black Mirror type thing, or like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Like it just has like, it's just this like weird breaking the laws of physics. Like,
yes,
I don't know what's even going on, what's real, what's not type of deal. And it's kind of fun.
So we have the first story with Nathan and his mom. We have the second story, which
with
is
Detective Edmund. So he like falls in love with like
this beautiful woman who's supposed to be moved in there after the twins or that family left or whatever. But of course, it is them.
Yeah.
And he gets lured in, and I like how he is. I just like interconnected stories in general, whether it's set up like a novel or whether it's short stories. I just like that, those little like Easter eggs almost, which this one's, it's more overt, that they're connected, but I like that he is basically investigating what happened to Nathan and his mom, by virtue of there's this man who was her name Rita, the mom. Is that her name?
Yes.
So Rita speaks very briefly to him in the first story before they go through the iron door.
Yeah. The man's name is Frank?
Yes.
Fred Fred Pink.
Fred, you're right. And speaks to him, and unbeknownst to us, he then immediately walks out into the street and gets hit by like a truck or something, goes into a coma, and then he wakes up and he is like, sees Nathan and Rita's pictures in the paper and is like, I spoke to that woman on that day. I remember because that was the day that I got hit. And so then Gordon starts investigating it. And I just like the different connections. And then how, like in Sally's story, she's part of this, like, what are they, kind of like a paranormal group.
Yeah, I thought the Paranormal Society, I think that, they were called the Paranormal Society. That was like really fun.
Yeah.
And so they all decide to go and investigate.
Yeah. But there's this big party going on there, and they all end up, just like, they're just having a big party. And like,
they're all college kids, so they're like, oh yeah, all right, well, we just stumbled into a party.
Let's have this feeling of dread because it's happened twice, and you know what's happening, and you're like, this isn't real. This isn't real, you guys. Like, and but they just go on in and they're having a good time and you're just like, it's not going to end well.
No, at all, not at all.
Not real.
But I like how they, how Sally's part of the story was written, like how she like starts drinking and then she kind of passes out on the couch and then she wakes up and she ends up, I guess, having a conversation with the detective, and he gives her residue. And then like she sees herself on the TV, like all the on the news,
where
disappearance, and she's like, "What?"
Like talking about how she's missing, and she's like, I've only been here for a few hours, but it's really been like days or something. Yeah. That kind of stuff I just love.
Yeah, I loved that part. I was just like, what? How? Oh my gosh, how is she going to get out of this? Like, because I really was rooting for her to get out.
I was too. I was like, maybe this is going to be the one that starts to break the cycle. Not yet, though.
No.
But soon she does start to break the cycle, but not yet.
Yeah.
And I guess you get that in Gordon's stories because he sees Rita, right? So that's when you start to learn that that their bodies are still there.
Yeah.
Like just like physically like in the house. That they don't do anything with them. Also, in the third story, when it starts to unravel and she goes into that room and sees like basically all the body parts.
Yeah, like
all the people.
They're all like tangled together.
Yes.
That was so weird. I was like, what?
I was like,
was not expecting that at all.
The heebie-jeebies. Like I was like, oh, what is going on? And then how her friend, who was actually not her friend, but that guy he was like, what does he say? Like something about like you're the main course. They were just appetite or something, like they were just like basically collateral damage, like
right, like they're just
threw the rest of them away, like that was just scraps. It's just like I just imagine. I know. I think this would have been a good did you ever watch Channel Zero?
Yeah, I watched the first season, the one with the teeth thing.
Okay, I can't do the teeth, kid. I have a real problem. I have trypophobia, so I don't know if you know what that is.
That would have definitely triggered that.
Yes. So I can't do the teeth. I've watched the second season. My husband's watched all of them and love them.
Really? Okay, because I've been thinking about starting to like the second season and beyond.
I've only seen the second, and it was really good. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So I think the second one's your favorite, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the No End House is really that one's really good. But it sort of gave me, I was like, this could be like a season of Channel Zero or something.
Oh, for sure. I can see that.
I liked it very much.
Ugh.
But yeah, that part where she goes into the room and there's all the
bodies meshed together. I was wait, what is happening? Is this like an orgy or something? And then I'm all, oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's just body parts.
And that they're like talking to her. Like, I'm like, they're still like there and they're talking to her. Weird.
Imagine how creepy.
Yeah.
So the fourth story follows Freya Timms, who's Sally's sister, and she is investigating the disappearance of her sister. Like,
Yeah.
she comes to town trying to figure out what happened, and she ends up setting up an interview with Fred Pink.
Yeah.
And he
At this
basically
point,
tells
like,
her
she
the
knows
whole...
it's like a pattern. She's discovered this pattern at this point.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just her sister, like everybody disappeared.
Oh,
Like
for
that
sure.
whole group and the teacher and everything.
Yeah.
So it was like a bigger deal because normally it was like one or two
people.
And so it kind of flew under the radar, and then it was like 6 people disappeared. And so Freya was like, okay, like something crazy is going on.
Right.
Yes, and she sets up an interview with Fred.
Because she finds out that he's like been looking into this as well, and he was like the last person to see Rita and Nathan. And so she sets up an interview with him at the Fox and Hound, which is the bar that's like right around the corner from the Slade house entrance.
Yeah.
And you get this whole backstory of like Nora and Jonah, these telepathic twins.
Yeah.
And somehow they go to this type of like training or something.
Basically, they're orphans. Sorry, I'm moving my computer around so that I can kind of lay down. They're orphans, and they are sent to live with this family, and they discover that they are telepathic, and so they like send them to go basically be like educated by this one guy who like takes them to all these different places, and like kind of gets this worldly education, but really he's like training them in all this like weird stuff. I don't know, they're learning about all this weird stuff.
Well, one thing he says is like they learn the power they learn the power of suasion, which is basically mind control, essentially. Like they're teaching them to like persuade people into doing things with their mind.
Yes.
Using their telepathic abilities, I guess.
Right.
And that's like is pretty much what makes them see things that aren't really there or do things.
They basically can project a whole scenario that looks real to other people, but it's just a fake. It's a facade that they have created, and they're able to maintain it with their minds. I guess basically that was just like, I got the impression that it was like they proved to them that they were telepathic and that was like something that they could do. And so the whole point of their like education was to like discover and hone all their other skills.
Yeah.
Until they were who they were.
Yeah.
But they needed a sacrifice every 9 years or so in order to maintain,
to keep that operandi going.
Yes.
Like what it seemed to me was like their actual bodies were tucked away somewhere else in time or space. And then this was just kind of like not a physical form of themselves. Like it was just some like their souls just out there in the ether, and then like in these like other bodies.
Yeah, like they could look however they wanted. They could take over other people's actual like minds and like inhabit their bodies, because they were just sort of these ethereal, say, spirits for lack of a better word. Like their physical bodies though were somewhere else. But they weren't, like, they could just like not age, which I think is another interesting thing, is that they just didn't age.
But they need souls to keep that going.
Exactly. And I guess they figured out that about every 9 years they needed another one. And so that's kind of how everything started. I think the fourth story is so interesting because it feels info dumpy. It feels like a little bit like you're just getting all this information. I'm like, is the whole point of the story just to be like backstory?
Right.
And then they just like flip it at the end and you realize what's really happening. and I was like, chef's kiss. Like,
Yeah. So the entire
I didn't
time
even
Fred
care
Pink
that was
isn't even
info dumping.
real. It's actually Jonah in Fred Pink's form. Fred Pink had actually like died maybe
He
a
had died
year
of like
or so
cancer or
before.
something, I think, a few years before.
Yeah, and then projected this whole interview and everything, and
Like the Fox
Jonah
and the
as a
Hound is
way
a
to
real
like
place, but where they were was a projection of the Fox and the Hound. Like it was fake.
exactly.
And like her figuring that out, like does she like gets up to go to the bathroom or comes back and like everything's different or weird? I don't know. It was just like, and she can't get out. She goes like downstairs and she's just upstairs again. And she starts to figure out like, oh God, like this isn't real. I can't get out of here.
And that's when you realize they have this like this drink that they give people. And so like at the bar, she doesn't eat or drink anything until she goes over to the bartender again about halfway through the story. And
Yes.
then that's when she finally takes a drink. And then that's when things start to go downhill from there. Because you realize, oh man, she drank that drink.
Yeah.
And now she's
Yes.
like,
I just and another little twist, an interesting thing at the end of the fourth story is that Sally, her residue that is in the house, intervenes
yes.
and then injures Jonah,
Yes.
stabs him in the eye or something, right?
Yes.
And I guess they do still get Freya's soul, maybe. She's not mentioned again, I don't think.
Yeah,
so.
it seems like they do.
But she's
Her,
able.
no, her soul is saved, but her body is still gone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
So
where maybe her soul goes on to.
Maybe she just like died a natural way or something.
Yeah, because I did take that as a note. Like,
okay, I couldn't remember.
I put in the process of the twins consuming Freya's soul, Sally's ghost. I put Sally's ghost, but I don't know. Like, I guess her like,
body.
yeah, attacks Jonah with the foxhead needle, and then her soul is saved, but her body's still dead.
Okay, so they killed her basically,
She was
but
able to save her
take her
sister's
soul.
No,
her soul just got to go on and do whatever souls do. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that so much. I was like, Sally, because I felt like Sally was the most pitiful of all of the victims.
I know.
So when she's able to like harness whatever she has as like residue and intervene so that they don't take her sister's soul. And it's kind of the beginning of the end. Well, it is the beginning of the end for the twins. Because you then get to the fifth story, which is
Dr. Iris Marinus Fenby.
Yes, that doctor.
Who was Fred Pink's therapist.
Yes. And she's kind of a non-believer, really, isn't she? I can't remember.
She
appears to be a non-believer.
To them, yes, until they realize what she actually is, which is something called a horologist, which is a watchmaker, which all comes back to this like time thing.
Right, with the bone
she's
clock,
also like some type of ethereal being type thing. I don't know what you would call them, but
what do they call the victims? Like they called them something. They have this particular thing.
Sure. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Like my one.
What is the name of that story? It might be the name of that story. Do you remember?
That story is called Astronauts.
Oh, then no. Okay. Although that is the name of something in that story.
Yeah, I don't know what they're.
I can't remember, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Don't they like say that they call them a certain thing, the people that they sacrifice or whose souls they steal, and it's
in gifted souls.
Yes, in gifted souls. Yes.
And so like those are so apparently you find out that like the souls that they bring in every 9 years have to be in gifted souls. So they need a specific type of person.
It can't just be anybody, which is why the other people in the Paranormal Society were just like scraps.
Yes, because
Yeah.
they didn't have this ability. Like, I'm assuming that means they have some sort of psychic abilities, but they don't know how to harness
Mhm.
them or don't know about them. They're not
Yeah.
aware of them.
That's kind of my thought too.
Yeah. So,
And Freya and Sally both had it as
yes,
sisters. So
they both were. And then also the detective and Nathan and his, I think just Nathan. I don't
I was
think
gonna say, I think his mom
the
was more
mom.
like collateral damage. I don't think
Yeah,
they even
I
took
think
her
so
soul.
too.
I think they were keeping her hostage. It sort of seemed
Yeah.
like they were just, I don't know, maybe they did, but
Right.
there again, maybe she was just like extra stuff they didn't need or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so we
So
get to
Dr.
that.
Marinus seems like she's getting like tricked by this whole
Yes,
ordeal. And like they're basically their entire operandi is falling apart because Jonah's still very much injured.
yes.
Um
And they
and
have, it's been
probably
eight,
because
hasn't it been 18 years? Have they weren't able to get one? Like,
the difference is well, it was 2006 to 2015.
so it's okay, it's been longer than 9 years.
So 15
No, no,
or
that's right. Yeah, 9 years.
679, yeah.
But what
9
it
years.
was in 2006, they didn't take Freya's soul. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't actually get a soul in 2006. So that's what I was thinking. Is they're weakened and Jonah is injured and can't heal himself in any way. Like
Exactly.
his physical body or whatever is injured
Yeah.
and they're having trouble keeping everything, the
Slade.
operandi, like it's kind of like shuddering, like they're not able to keep it up. And yeah, when you think that the doctor is being, you're like, oh no, it's just gonna end.
Oh, they got her. They got her. So they
Mhm.
like act like she's been in an accident and she's waking up in the hospital and they're like, drink this or
Mhm.
whatever, like they're trying.
Yep.
And you think that she's succumbing to that when in reality she's there to basically destroy the operandi
Yeah.
because she is
And
something called a watchmaker or horologist or
yeah.
whatever, which is an gifted but also immortal. She's like immortal. That's one thing that
So
they
I
say.
wonder if those types of characters are things that are explained in the bone clocks. I'll be interested.
I feel like maybe
Okay.
because she is like it does say that she is immortal, and I think she's just able to like come back
Okay.
from all of this. So perhaps there will be people who are like that, who are like horologists in this bone clocks book
I'm
as
very
well. I
interested
don't
in how to
know.
read bone clocks. So
Yeah.
I don't know that. I guess I can imagine some people just being very confused by this, but I guess I just was sort of along for the ride. And I was just kind of like, in gifted? Sure. Okay. I don't know. It's just like, that's what it is. All right, cool.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I
But yeah.
I think it was just very brilliantly written. And then that twist at the end where Nora's soul finds the body of
Jonah
finds a
Jonah,
pregnant woman and
so Jonah is destroyed basically, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Jonah is,
Marinus destroys Jonah with some weird, I don't know, like he tries to attack her. There's like something about drawing like sigils or
yes.
symbols, and
Yeah.
then like she deflects that somehow or is able
Yeah.
to like use like maybe I don't know the mirror to like
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
like
She ends up
ricochets off of her to him and he like
basically
implodes.
killing, kind of like that. Well, I won't say. There's something, I don't want to say. There's the end of a TV show that sort of uses that. But I guess I won't say. I'll ruin it.
Oh
It's a
man.
Disney Plus television show. I'll say that. There we go.
Interesting.
Maybe you and I could talk about it later if you've watched it.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, love the end. So Jonah is killed essentially, and Nora's soul still exists, but the operandi is like it's done. Like Slade House is done. So yeah, she finds a way. She needs to go into someone's body to exist, and so she like
And
goes
just be
into that
reborn.
fetus that is inside of this pregnant woman who happens to be walking by, and it's just bizarre, and I love it. And it's
I
like,
know.
and there's just gonna be more generations of she's just gonna figure it out on her
These
own.
soul eater things, whatever.
I loved it.
It is really fascinating the way that it's written. And that was just, I don't know, that was such a good ending to me. I don't know. I did really, really enjoy that.
I did too.
I don't know. Perhaps I am rethinking my rating.
So what was
Maybe I
it
am
that,
leaning more 5-star now that I think about it and I'm talking about it. Because I
what,
still remembered quite a bit. And I feel like that
that is a good,
says
that's
a
usually
lot.
a sign, yeah. What
Mm-hmm.
made you give it 4.5 over 5 to begin with?
I don't know. I think after I just finished it, I didn't really feel like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was anything I was going to remember or that I was
Okay.
even like would be interested in rereading at some point. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what kept me from that.
Sometimes it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
So Kim has given several comments while we've kind of been
Chatting. So
through this,
about
chatting
Fred
through
Pink's
this.
dandruff, I guess.
Yes, he does
I don't
need.
even remember that, to be honest. I
I
didn't
don't
even
either.
remember
Poor
any.
Fred Pink. He's a pretty sympathetic, sad character.
I know. I feel really
Um,
bad for him.
I know, because he's really portrayed as like a conspiracy theorist. Like he's kind of the only one who thinks that
Who
there's
actually knew
something
what was going on.
really, and he did. He knew, yeah. He had. We can presume he had found out quite a bit about the twins. Of course, we find out that's not really him telling the story,
Right.
but I do think he still found out at least enough of what was going on. But they didn't kill him, right? He did just die of like cancer or something.
I believe so. That's what it,
They didn't.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was. I read someone's comment that was like, "Oh, it's just like 5 short stories like pushed into one," and I was like, "But they have a purpose. Like they tell a linear story. How is that just like five
Yeah.
short stories pushed?" I don't know. I can see it not being everyone's cup of tea. It's very complicated and just weird. It's just
Yeah.
weird. It's a great word for it.
To me, I felt like it was the perfect amount of complicated for me. I think any
Uh-huh.
further, I would have been
Too
confused.
confused. Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's still some things that confuse me about it, but for the most part, I feel like I did get it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I
even
do think
every
it would
little
be more like clear to me if I read the Bone Clocks too.
yeah. Maybe the
Like
bone
having
clock.
it be the same world, like maybe there's maybe this gets expanded upon a lot more.
Yeah,
Like
maybe there's talk of in-gifteds and what is it, astronauts or aeronauts or whatever she calls it.
horologists.
Horologists.
And Black Waterman is another thing that we didn't bring up, but that's what they basically call the people like when Jonah like takes over a body.
Oh yeah,
Like the
uh-huh.
Black Waterman is what he calls it.
So maybe those are terms that come up in the bone clocks as well, and we just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And if they don't, I'm fine with that too. But
Yeah.
it would be cool to get um, a little more
Mhm.
depth on those things and what they
Yeah.
are. So
I feel like this has all the right amount of like sci-fi and peculiar and like alternate universe type stuff that I really enjoy. And I think if I were to compare it to any other book that we had read previously, it would probably be The Library at Mount Char. And the way that was done was just a lot less appealing to me than the way it was done
yeah,
here.
I ended up DNFing that one.
Mm-hmm.
But also it was December. Like I'm glad we're taking December off this year because I only wanted to read like light, fluffy Christmas things, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like tried to read that, and I was like, this isn't what I'm in the mood for.
No.
So I mean, I'm glad we're taking. Well, and also just because it's going to be busy.
Yeah, for sure.
But we are. I wish that. I'm sorry that more people didn't enjoy this book because I think as those of us who read it in the book club, I think enjoyed it for the most part.
I think so.
from what we've kind of been talking about a little bit. I think, did Marcy read it?
I know she was in the middle of moving and stuff. I'm not
Right, that's why I wasn't
around to
sure
it or not.
if she read it or not. But yeah, I think those of us who did read it enjoyed it. Kim asked, the November book is NightBitch
By Rachel Yoder.
Thank you. I knew it was Yoder. I could not think of the first name. Rachel Yoder. Mm-hmm. That is our November book. I don't think we've set a live show date for that, have we?
No, not yet, but it'll probably be somewhere around the last Saturday.
Yeah.
Like so maybe the 27th.
Yeah, the 27th would probably be good.
Of November.
We'll talk to the rest of the group. Mm-hmm. Don't hold us to that, but but yeah, that will be our last book of the year. We're really excited because we have some awesome. We're making plans for 2022 already, aren't we?
Yes.
And the stuff we're going to read in the first quarter of the year and all that, and some fun stuff we might do. Yay! I'm so glad.
The 4 and 24 Pet Cemetery Live is going to be
next week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's next week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it, but it's going to be. Is it the 28th? I believe it's the 28th.
The Thursday.
Let me double check. But I believe it is. I know it's a day. Yes, because it's at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific.
Gotcha.
But it's the 28th, Thursday the 28th. But I'm not gonna be able to make it because I work until 7:15.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Are we gonna do? Sorry, I feel like I have hiccups. I'm just waiting for them to interrupt me. I think we might do some kind of impromptu sprints and stuff in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
We feel like it.
For sure. And then possibly, maybe we could fit in a little weekend reading thing, like a readathon. Maybe not even just like I don't know.
Yeah.
24 hours and a weekend type deal or something,
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Let us know.
We just have I was thinking just one easy prompt, like read books with strange covers. And that could literally be anything. Mm-hmm. If you're like, oh, this is kind of a weird cover, and just read it.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be kind of fun. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys want to do
let us know in the comments of this video if you would want to join a little weekend readathon or something.
Yeah.
A weekend of strange.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I want to read the synopsis for NightBitch too, just to I
need to get my hands on that. I need to see if my library has that actually. I know this makes for riveting live show. Me checking.
I know, right?
Database.
It seems like it's a woman that is kind of becoming like a werewolf, kind of.
Okay, I was gonna say she's becoming something, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Well, she ends up suddenly she starts. It says basically follows this mom to a toddler.
This is going to be a real interesting one for you and Carol to read.
Gaining things, surprising things that happen one night when her child will not sleep. Sharper canines, strange new patches of hair, new appetites, and new instincts. It seems kind of like werewolfy.
Okay.
It also might have something to do with some type of insanity that she's feeling over not sleeping or
maybe it's
the stress of having a toddler. I don't know. It seems very, very weird. But it was suggested to us many, many times.
Yeah. There's someone, I don't think it's anyone who's on our live right now. Who was it that really wanted us to read it?
Sarah. I know Sarah. Shops. She was constantly. telling us
My
we should
library does not have it. Libby does not have it. Hoopla does not have it. So
Oh no.
I'm going to be, I guess, purchasing NightBitch at some
That does
point.
sound pretty good.
What a
That's a
title!
really neat cover too.
What a title! My God, it's $17 on Amazon. I'm so cheap.
Are there used book options? It's only 256 pages too, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, it's kind of short.
I was thinking about suggesting, and I think I did suggest it in the group, but I would like to know other opinions too, like for January reading The Perishing, because it was a book of the month pick for this
Yes.
one, and it is like probably the first speculative fiction that I've seen them have
Yes.
like offered. So I thought
I'm
it would be
definitely
really
down because that was my pick for the month as well.
yeah. So
Um,
I don't know if you guys want to read
love
The
to
Perishing for
see some
maybe
speculative
January.
fiction from
Yeah,
authors of color being portrayed at Book of the Month. Like,
yeah.
love that.
And then we were thinking about some type of weird romance for February. So just to give you guys a heads up for like
Little
the plans for next
tease,
year.
if you will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Love.
Okay, so NightBitch is about society's view of mothers.
Okay, I could see
Okay.
that. Okay,
Interesting. I'm really interested in reading it.
Yeah, me too. I had no idea what it was until y'all started talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Had
So
no-
yeah, there's kind of your sneak preview of the 2002 book. We don't have anything set for the romance book for February. Obviously, we're going to
we
try to
just
find
sort of, I
something
think in our
strange.
last one of our sprints or live show, we kind of talked about dark romance and things, and that led us on a path of like weird romance and how maybe we should do like a weird romance for February for Valentine's, which would be fun.
Be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think as far as like our books for next year, at least The Perishing is almost definitely for January, and then
Yeah, I would like to do that for sure.
mhm.
But we will probably we'll probably put up in sometime in December, right? Maybe beginning of December. We'll
Mhm.
announce our January, February, March books so that y'all can start getting your hands on that. And yeah, maybe we'll talk soon about doing a little weekend readathon. Always give me something to do a vlog for, which would also be nice.
Yes. Same.
Something for Vlogmas. No, I'm not doing
Yeah,
Vlogmas again this year. I
there
cannot.
we
That
go.
was too much.
So fun. I think I'm just gonna continue to mood read like I'm doing right now, and it's been really, really great.
Yep.
It's been awesome.
Sorry, my cat is.
What are you reading right now, Amy? By the way, before we
What am I reading right
get out
now?
of here.
June, stop scratching. The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates.
Oh, I read that. Are you reading it?
I am 14 pages in, so I don't have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a nice, like, not too scary haunted house story. I love it. I thought it was
Okay. Love a haunted house. She's basically just gotten to the house with her cat. Tell me, nothing bad happens to the cat, right? You remember? Does something bad happen to the cat?
honestly, I can't remember if something bad happens to the cat or not.
Because if you could just prepare me for it, that's
I
at least better.
don't think so because I don't remember that being all too disturbing.
Okay.
But I don't want to tell you no if something.
I'll look into it.
Oh man, I
I
don't.
know
really
several of you all in the group, several of our group members have read it. So if anybody in the comments
try to
can tell me. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kim. She says no, nothing.
Oh, okay. No, nothing does.
Thank you. Okay. Because like
I feel like I would have remembered if something did, but I'm like, I don't
Okay.
remember, so I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes.
Well, I just finished The Last House on Needless Street 2
Mm.
days ago, which does have some cat stuff, but not a lot.
Not what I was expecting.
Not what I was expecting. There's like one portion that I could tell something was about to happen, and I just skimmed it. But other than that,
I will definitely check that out. Multiple ideas from Kayla's recent upcoming books video.
Oh, okay.
I usually reach out. I usually watch like her videos to pick books because she does have a very particular weird book taste.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that usually inspires a lot of our book picks.
Yeah. She reads a lot more YA though, I think,
Yeah.
than we do. And in fact, when we did those polls, it was overwhelmingly people wanted us to read more adult books. So that may be something that, not that we'll never read YA, but
Right.
we may focus more on those um, if that's what the people want.
Yes, exactly.
If that's what
Well,
y'all.
I finally got my Kindle Paperwhite. Took me forever to get it. I got it like a week later after
Ooh,
I
I
was
love the
thinking about
greenish
it.
blue background. Mine is purple, but
I
that
know.
is so pretty.
It's like the sage green one.
I love it.
So I did finally get it.
What are you
I
reading?
literally just got it like Monday. I was supposed to get it 2 Mondays ago,
Oh
and I
no.
got it the week after. But I'm currently reading Stolen Tongues, which is a horror,
Tell me who
which I'm
that's
hearing about
by.
everywhere.
Who's the author?
Felix Blackwell?
Okay.
I want to say
That
it's Felix
maybe
Blackwell.
Marcy. Someone else was reading that.
I know. I do believe Carol read it.
Maybe that's. I mean, I was gonna say somebody put something on Instagram stories or something.
I think Carol read it
Maybe Carol.
because she was
Carol, if you're still watching, I hope you enjoyed your little shout out in one of my more recent videos where I. Do you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
Okay. There is
Felix Blackwell, by
a
the way.
there's a part where one of the characters is talking about someone named Carol, and they go, Carol, Carol. And in my last video, I was referring to Carol, saying something like, I think I saw my friend Carol reading it, and then I put that scene in real quick, and I got cracked up about it, and I was like, I know Carol will get it, but it doesn't.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
I don't remember. It's like
so cute.
Maybe like 2 videos ago or something. I don't remember.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Little shout out for Carol.
She always gives me great book suggestions. Like I've read a lot of her suggestions lately, and I've been loving them. So I'm reading Stolen Tongues right now. I've been hearing about it everywhere. I've been seeing it everywhere.
Okay.
And it was on,
is it a new release?
I believe so. I don't know, because like Gabby read it.
Oh, okay.
Seen a lot of people reading it and saying it like it's one of the scariest books they've ever read, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. So I was like,
dang, and I just saw a thing the other on like a targeted ad for me that was like, and they usually do it around the holidays, and it's 2 months of Kindle Unlimited for free. I know. A couple of years ago I did it, and it was like 3 months for free, and I did it at Christmas time, and then promptly forgot for 6 months to cancel it. So, and read like one book.
I very well might, because after getting my Kindle, I now have it for 3 months for free, and I will probably forget by then.
Yeah, that's okay. It happens.
I'm sure I'll read plenty of books from Kindle Unlimited to like make up for it anyway.
Yes, Kim. I also loved the cat chapters.
I thought they were really funny too. They were written very well. I really enjoyed them.
Love the idea of this cat who reads the Bible, like is concerned about what the Lord thinks of what she does. It's so funny, and she'll be like, "I know the Lord wouldn't approve, but G did." I'm like, I love this cat. It's so great.
Hilarious.
You know the Lord wouldn't approve, and now the word "Lord" is always in like very biblical font. It was just very.
Is it? Oh my! I didn't read it physically. I listened to the audiobook.
Okay.
Which is done very, very well too.
Okay. I'm sure. I don't. When everybody talks about that book, like in reviews, they're like, I don't know how to talk about this book without spoiling it. And now that I've read it, I'm like, yeah, right. I don't know how you talk about the plot of this book without spoiling it.
I don't know either.
Which actually, I need to take it to the library today because it's like 4 days late. Because I was like, I brought it to Salem with me, and I read a book on my Kindle. I didn't read that, which was my physical book from the library. And so it was due like the day we got home, and I was like, I'm keeping this book until I finish it.
Right.
Because otherwise, if there's holds on it and I'm not going to get it back, I can't renew it anymore.
For sure.
I don't have, I was like, I'm just going to be that butthole, and I'm going to keep it for a few extra days. So I have finished it. I need to take it so that the next person can can have it. But yeah, other I was gonna let my husband go ahead and read it, but I was like, you're just gonna have to wait and check it out some other time because
It was really hard not to, because like the hype around it, I don't know. It's really hard to like.
I follow a lot of UK booktubers, and it came out like in February there or something.
Yeah.
And so like they were all reading it, and I was like, I want to read this book, and then I got denied from the arc of it. I was like, damn it.
I think that was another book that I read because of Carol. I'm pretty sure it was another one that I read because of her.
Carol, she's the best. Were you and Crystal in Salem at the same time? We were like ships passing in the night. Crystal left on Thursday, and we were flying in on Thursday. So we were not in Salem at the same time, unfortunately. She was maybe going to be there until Friday, and if she was, we were definitely going to see each other. But they ended up leaving Thursday, and my husband and I were flying into Boston. And basically Thursday was a whole travel day because it took like a whole day to get there.
Did he or did he not get a Ouija board?
He did not get a Ouija board.
No.
We did go to the Ouija board museum, which I would suggest for anyone traveling to Salem at any time of the year. Mm-hmm. It is kind of difficult to find. There is like a Harry Potter store, which is Wizards, but like
it's kind of
Harry Potter store, and it's literally in the back. Like to get to it, you have to walk through the Harry Potter store. You get your ticket at their cash register, and then you go behind the cash register, and it's basically this guy's personal collection. You can follow them on Instagram. It's Salem Witchboard Museum. I think it's just at Salem Witchboard Museum. June, quit whining for food. It is not dinner time yet. We did go to that. It was very cool. We went to Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery, which is also incredible. We went to the Satanic Temple, which Scott was very excited about.
Interesting.
He got a couple little things from there, and it was very beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We just hit up lots of shops and walked around and saw all the hocus pocus stuff. But no, sadly, Crystal and I missed each other by mere hours, probably. We did talk, and we were going to try to get together. It just didn't happen. So next time I'm up that way, I'll have to. We live pretty far from each other. It's probably like I don't know. I know she's in Jersey. She's not in Boston, but it's probably like at least like a 12-hour drive. Probably.
Yeah, pretty far.
So we flew up there,
right.
Which was the first time. My husband and I have been together for 11 years and married for 8, and we have never been on a plane together.
Really?
So we road tripped, and I've been on planes and different trips and stuff, but we had never been on a plane together in all 11 years together. So that was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time, but no, I sadly did not see Crystal.
But I would love to go.
Maybe we need to have a Stacks of Strange meetup in Salem.
Yeah, I would love that.
Just Airbnb a big house and do our rituals that we do before.
Yeah.
Why we're always 5 minutes late. We have to do a ritual.
A quick ritual.
Just a quick one. Just super quick.
Love it. Yeah.
Well, did you have stuff up, Raine? Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Or does anyone in the comments?
I don't know. I would like to host some sprints next week sometime, like some spooky sprints for Halloween. Yeah. I'm just going to see wherever I can fit them in. Because we are going to go camping next weekend.
Oh, okay.
So.
Will you be camping on Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So we're just going to go to the middle of the desert and just do fun outdoor spooky things.
It sounds pretty spooky.
It'll be great. And it's going to be camp weekend ween, so I'm going to be reading scary stories about camping.
Oh. So Raine's going to get approximately 30 minutes of sleep.
Probably.
Because she's going to be scared shitless.
Yeah.
out there in the middle of nowhere. She's going to be like, what was that sound?
I did kind of creep myself out a little bit reading Stolen Tongues. So, like, and I don't even get creeped out by most books, to be honest.
I
But
don't either. I'm such a visual person that like things in movies will creep me out or TV shows, like, but in books, I mean, I might be like, ooh, that was creepy, but it doesn't like keep me up at night. Like, I don't really think about it.
No, yeah.
Because I'm just more visual. That sort of thing scares me more, but.
Me too. And I have been watching a lot of horror films too. So, you know, that kind of probably added in with the book. It's not been the greatest, but it's fine.
Yeah. Kim, I did not vlog in Salem. I intended to, and it was so crowded. I was only planning on ever doing like a B-roll vlog. But I didn't want to drain my phone battery because we were gone like all day, and I didn't want to drain my phone battery, doing B-roll. I didn't want to have to lug my camera. And I also just kind of wanted to enjoy myself and not think about, oh, I need to get B-roll. I need to get
you want to be in the moment too.
Yeah.
So I'm totally understandable.
I understand. Yeah, it's a little disappointing. I would have liked to have vlogged it, but I also just had a really good time with my husband, and it was nice to just sort of be. And also, we spent about half the time in Salem, and then we also spent half the time. I have family in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, so some of the time we were like out in the
visiting
country, visiting family and doing stuff like that. So we weren't in Salem the whole time, although that was the main purpose of the trip. But we worked in family time too. So, but no vlog. But I'm gonna probably try to film some stuff tomorrow. Get some videos up for next week for anyone watching who may be interested. I can't remember. I keep a calendar, but I can't remember what I'm supposed to be filming. My November TBR will be up probably, I think, on the end of the week. But
I'm finally planning a vlog right now. So
are you?
Hopefully I get around to doing it because I haven't filmed anything other than live shows. So I haven't actually filmed anything.
I'm ready for the return of
I'd like to get back into filming again. Yeah. So I'm planning a vlog. So yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about it, so that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. Yeah. Only ever do things like that if you're excited and passionate about it. Because otherwise, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is again why I did not vlog in Salem. I was like, yeah, I'm sure people would like that. I know I would like to watch that type of video, but also I don't feel like spending my time trying to get hashtag content. I just want to like enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks everyone who read the book, and I'm sorry that some of you didn't enjoy it as much as we did. But hopefully you still join us for NightBitch, or at least some of the books we have planned for next year.
Yeah, definitely stay tuned. Try to do, or I think Raine's been really great about just like doing random sprints and things like that. And also, I think even out of spooky season, we should continue doing movie watch-alongs, which I missed both of them because of traveling and other things, other plans. But I really want to hop on. So I think, doing those occasionally. I hope you guys liked doing those, but because spooky movies come out all year round.
Oh, for sure.
We don't have to just do them in October.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. And we'll see you, I don't know, maybe for some spooky sprints next week.
Yeah.
There'll be other sprints. I'm probably going to do at least 2 sprints a month now. Going to try to bump it up and do at least, every other week have some sprints, because I feel like we could do more of those. And
it also keeps us motivated to read too.
Yes, it definitely helps me. I always get like a good amount read during the sprints.
Yeah, same.
So even though we do tend to talk a lot, I still get quite a bit read. So.
We still do some sprinting though.
Exactly. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.